Hello, welcome to Dual Credit U.S. History A, Unit 5. This is a great unit because it kind of just wraps everything together and just helps us figure out, what's going on and helps us figure out what we're going to learn about in U.S. History B. So, let's get started. Lesson 21 talks about Reconstruction. Now, a big problem that happened during Reconstruction was that President Lincoln had just been killed, okay? And so President Johnson was in charge instead of President Lincoln. And, sometimes we talk about, what would have happened if President Lincoln would have stayed alive. And he was really at the pinnacle of his presidency. He had just won the war. Everything was going so well. And then he died. Okay. President Johnson was later taken out of office. Anyway, so it was kind of a mess with the radical Republicans. However, they did pass 3 amendments to the Constitution. One was the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. One was the 14th Amendment, which granted all the slaves the rights. And then the 15th Amendment, which gave the slaves the right to vote, regardless of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Of course, Lesson 22 talks about segregation and about how, the Jim Crow laws really made that not happen. We had the white drinking fountains and the colored drinking fountains, and the white places to sit and the colored places to sit. And, and a lot of that still happened for 100 years, which is kind of really ridiculous to think of. And there was the separate but equal in Plessy versus Ferguson on the Supreme Court, and that said that we could still have separate as long as it was equal, but really there was no equal about it. And I've listened to and read about several things that were definitely not equal in that whole experience. Okay, so then lesson 23 talks about the West, and now the West can be settled without the question of slavery. So we had the Transcontinental Railroad, which united the 2 railroads in Promontory Point, Utah. I've actually been to Promontory Point, Utah, to commemorate the uniting of the railroads. It is in the middle of nowhere. But it's kind of cool to be there on just that one day of the year where they commemorate the railroad. So there you go. There were also a lot of Indian wars, and the Indians wanted the buffalo for a lot of different reasons, and the white people really didn't care about the buffalo. Buffalo were really, really super important to the American Indians, however. There were farms going on in this period of time. And then we also talk in lesson 24 about the big business that happened, the Industrial Revolution that happened. We talk about child labor, the monopolies, the robber barons, social Darwinism, which eventually led to World War I, all of the stuff like that. And lesson 25 talks about the women's suffrage, which they didn't get the right to vote until 1920. Talks about the Gilded Age, talks about urbanization and immigration, and a lot of interesting subjects that happened during that era. For your project, for Unit 5, I need you to pick one of these documentaries. These are the documentaries from Unit 3, from Unit 4, and from Unit 5. Please make sure that you write me a good essay at the end. You may choose to follow or not to follow the question that I have at the end, but please make sure that you write a good essay. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.